Hi friends, good evening to everyone. Have you gone through the last class session? Have any doubts? Vasudha Jeet, Yogesh, Vigneshwaran, Saravana Kumar,
Sir, no doubt, sir.
everyone have any doubts in the last session?
Sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. Have you gone through the last session? Have any doubts? Okay,
Yes,
in
sir,
this
it was
session,
fine, sir.
right, we saw good. In this session, we solve the problems by exploring our input-output statements in C language. So first to understand that printf, right, in the last class, some of you right asked, why do we use percentage %d in the printf statement? For example, consider the simple program hash include stdio.h. Check if screen is visible. Okay. Then into main, suppose we have some variables into a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20. Just we do like to print the values of a and b. We need to use the printf function in C language. Printf percentage d space percentage d comma a comma b. Have a next statement printf a is equal to percentage d space d is equal to percentage d a comma b. Have a look into the next printf, right? Nothing, no parameters. Let me close the main function and save the file as, right? Our file name is cp. Save next file cp3.cpp by default. Have a look into this program. We have two integer variables a and b. A is 10, b is 20. So int is one data type in C language. A and b are variables. 10, 20, these are constants. Printf is the output function that outputs the value of a variable. Printf outputs the string message. In the first printf statement, we have the values of variables a and b are replaced to this percentage d from left to right. Variables order is a comma b. So in that order, right, first percentage d replaces the value of variable a. Second percentage d replaces the value of a variable b. In the next printf statement, a is equal to percentage d. What is this a? Whatever you have enclosed within the opening and closing double quotes, right? This is taken as a string constant. String constant, right? This is printed as it is, but a is equal to is a string constant. Percentage d is the format specifier. So there, the value of a variable a is replaced. Then b is equal to percentage d. Here, the second variable b is replaced here. Value of the variable b is replaced here. Next printf statement, right? This will not print anything. Next, if you like to give printf, for example, end of main function. Close in double quotes, then the statement ends with a semicolon. Now consider this program, right? File to save. I press F9. What happens? One compile time error is there. What is the error message? too few parameters in printf.
Sir, should we give an empty quotes over there?
Yeah. Let's solve it. Too few parameters in a call to printf, right? So you need to provide, right, at least the empty double quotes, right? That is expected. So this is right just null statement, right? Nothing will get printed. F9, just I pressed F9. I already said you can also go through this debug option, debug run, or you can press Control F9 directly. Have a look into this output. Please check the output window. First 10 space 20 is printed because of this printf statement. Printf percentage d space percentage d, A is 10, B is 20. Then in the second line, right, we provided A is equal to percentage D, B is equal to percentage D. But in the same line of output is continued. That is important. So A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20 is printed. Then printf, right, nothing, right, will get printed. Then printf end of main is printed in the same line. So first to understand, to print the value of integer variables, we need to use percentage D format specification. Clear? Have any queries in this example? Have any doubts in this example? Okay, next, in case if we like to print the results 10, 20, then A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20 in the next line. Then end of main in the next line. That stage, what we have to do, we need to make a little bit modification. We solve it right in the next example. For example, here, new program. Edit, I already copied, pasted. Printf percentage D A comma B. Then printf, I introduce /n. The purpose of /n, right? This is the escape character sequence. This forces the output to appear in the next line. So after printing the values of A and B, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20 will get printed in the next line. For example, let us save the program. CP4. I am running the program. Control F9. Have a look into this output. 1020 is printed first. Then in the next line, you see A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. Then the output is concatenated because in the next line, right, we didn't force the output to print in the new line. In case if you like to print in the new line, you put right the /n. Here also, right, wherever you want inside the double quotes, you can put /n. So basically, right, learn these things. Now you can see the outcome like this. First 10 and 20 is printed. Then A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20 is printed. Then next line /n. This outputs an empty line. No character will be printed in that line. Then in the next line, right, /n, just to force the output into the next line. That is its purpose. So clearly here you can see after the blank line, we have the message end of main. This is for integer variables, right? Percentage D, this is to print the value of integer variables. Have any doubts in this example?
No, sir.
Okay. Next, right, we move on to right how to print the floating point variables and then we see how to get or how to read inputs from the keyboard. Then we solve the problems, right? Whatever the algorithms we have solved earlier, that can be directly implemented in the C program. So next, right, I go to another
Sir, I
example.
have a doubt, sir.
File is
Sir, we have assigned A and B variables as an integer only now, sir.
Keshavan, Abhijit Keshavan, I think your voice is not clear.
Sir, can you hear me now?
Not audible. Yes,
Sir, just
tell
a
me.
second, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you hear me now?
Keshavan. Yeah. Yeah.
Sir, we have assigned A and B variables as an integer now, sir. If we don't give
Okay.
percentage %d in the output statement, will it be considered as a string?
So when you don't give the percentage D in the printf statement, nothing will get printed. For example, right, I paste again. Printf A is equal to and B is equal to. In this case, right, I press Control F9. You can see the message. First 1020 is printed. Then A is equal to, that's all, blank. B is equal to blank. This A comma B actually requires its own format specifier in the printed statement. Then only the values of the variables A and B are printed. Clear?
Okay, sir. Suppose if we give A is equal to 10 inside a quotes, then there's no need to print percentage %d, right?
A is equal to 10 inside the yeah, okay, you are correct. This thing is A is equal to 10, right? In this case, what happens? I said, right, whatever you are giving inside the double quotes. Control.
No, sir, I'm asking,
Yeah.
while assigning A is equal to 10, if we give it as A is equal to 10 inside the quotes, then here there is no need to print percentage %d, right?
No, no, no. Here A is equal to 10 in double quotes. Are you asking this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is not possible, Abhijit, because here A is the integer variable, right? The data type is integer 1. Integer data type holds only integer constants. So anything that is enclosed within double quotes is said to be a string constant. This results in error.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Let it be the next file. File, save, CV file. Then, before solving the problems, right, just to have an idea, represent the floating point variable. So, in this example, I like to introduce another data type, float. When I type float, right, what happened? The float is highlighted. Why it is getting highlighted?
It's a data type.
Yeah, it's a data type, but it is a reserved word in C language because because this is a reserved word, right? All the reserved words are highlighted. For example, B is equal to 20.5. In this case, right, first to understand, we do like to print the integer portions and I like to give this statement. Printf. So hereafter, right, we will be using, right, conveniently to force the output in a new line by introducing this \n character. So \n, I write %f, a comma b. Then a is equal to here I use this, you know well, a is equal to %f, b is equal to %f. That's all, right? And no need to have these statements. Shift delete. Okay. Now in this scenario, file save CP6 F9. No compile time errors are there. In this example, we are introducing float, right? This is the data type to store part numbers, real numbers. That means floating point numbers. It can have right two parts. One is the integer portion and another one is the fractional portion. Here A is the integer portion. 2, 3, 4, right? This is the fractional portion. 20 is the integer portion. 5, right? Then 5 is the fractional portion. In this example, we tried first to print percentage D format specification. Then we printed the values of A and B using percentage F format specification. Then we printed, right, as usual, what is A and what is B. Now have a look into this outcome. Printf, right, percentage D, A comma B. So in this case, right, if you print percentage D in the integer format, some garbage values will be printed, or in some compilers, right, you can expect the integer portions 1 and 20, right? The second thing, percentage of format specification, A and B are printed. So after the decimal point, float rate takes single precision. So you can have right 6 digits of accuracy. So 1.234, this is same as 1.234 followed by 3 zeros. Then 20.5 is 20.5 followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Then subsequently we have printed the values of A and B as A is equal to percentage F, B is equal to percentage F. So in this example, you should learn that two things. One is the percentage D, this is the format specifier which is used to output integer values or integer variables. Second, percentage F is the format specifier which is used to output floating point values. Here, understand or not?
Yes, sir.
Two format specifiers we have explored, one to print integer values and another one to print floating point values. So in a C language, whatever we like to print in the screen, we need to use a printf statement. In the printf statement, if we enclose right whatever in the double quotes, that is taken as a string constant. Printf hi, printf welcome to load C language, printf end of the main function, printf this is printed in the part of a printf statement. These are some messages, assuming that when these are enclosed in the double quotes, automatically whatever we have given in that double quotes will get printed. Second thing, using printf, we can print integer values, floating point values. So to print the value of a floating point variable, use percentage F float format specifier. To print the value of integer values or integer variables, you need to use this percentage D format specifier. Any queries? Yes. Okay. Next, we move on to how to read input from the keyboard. Because for any programming language, one must learn first how do we process input and how do we print the result. These two things are essential in any programming language. In the flow charts or even in the algorithms, the several examples we have used: input A, B, C, find some computations, finally print the result, right? So that is the generic or general one with respect to the algorithm or flowchart. With respect to its implementation in a particular high level language, one should understand first how to read the input values. That means how to process the input values and how to print the resultant values computation. That is important. So far we have learned, right, how to print the results, integer results, floating point results, some direct string values. In this example, the opposite of right printf function that we need to learn as a scanf function. This will be read as a scanf function. This is actually the input function in C language. The function is scanf. This is similar to a printf. This is defined in stdio.h header file. So we are including the header file hash include stdio.h. Then int main. In this example, we like to read. For example, here we are giving the command read, say two integers x and y, and print the result. That means if we read x is equal to 10, we expect to print x as 10. If we read y as 50, then we need to print y as 50. So two integers x and y are required. We need to learn the syntax for declaring the variables. So to declare a variable declaration, we need to follow this syntax: data type variable list semicolon. This is the syntax to declare a variables. For example, we can have int a, then int b, or these two statements can be returned in a single statement as int a comma b. We can have, for example, float x comma y comma z. These are said to be variable declaration statements. Data type, area space, variable list. When you have more than one variable list should be separated by the comma operator. Float x comma y comma z. What is the meaning? This is equivalent to three declarations: float x, float y, and a float z. Equivalent to three declarations. So in this example, let us declare right two integers x and y, int x comma y, or this is equivalent to two declarations, int x, int y. Both are same. Next, we do like to get input from the keyboard. That stage we need to use the scanf statement. So now itself learn the syntax of scanf statement. We need to write scanf within the double quotes, you need to specify the corresponding format specifier to read or to signify what type of value is going to be read from the keyboard, right? So what are you going to read from the keyboard? We need to use %d, scanf %d, comma, use ampersand, then variable d. So syntax of scanf is scanf. Within the double quotes, you need to use the format specifier %d. Then put comma ampersand x. What is the meaning here? Read the integer x. That is the meaning of the statement in the C language. Scanf %d ampersand x means x is the integer variable. In the flowchart, we have used, for example, input x. Input x in the flowchart is equivalent to scanf %d ampersand x in the C language. Likewise, we have the second statement or next statement, scanf %d, comma, ampersand y, comma, ampersand y. This means read the integer variable y. That means read one integer value and the integer value is assigned to the variable y. That is the meaning of the second statement. Or these two, right, can be combined into a single one, right? I tell you next, right? After this execution, please wait. Next, we do like to print what do we like to print? X is equal to %d, then space, for example, y is equal to %d, comma, x, comma, y. So have these four statements into x, comma, y. These are integer variables declaration. Scanf %d ampersand x. This reads one integer from the keyboard and it assigns to the integer variable x. Scanf %d ampersand y means you need to type one integer value. Once you press enter key, that integer value will be assigned to the integer variable y. Then whatever we have given in the variables x and y are printed here. Suppose, let us run the program. Save. File name is CP7. I'm pressing Ctrl F9. It seems the compilation has been successfully completed. No compile time error is there, right? Program is running. Can you see this window, output window?
Yes, sir.
Are you seeing this? Now what happens? The cursor is blinking. Why the cursor is blinking?
So it is waiting for us to give an input.
Yeah, very good. Where the program execution begins? Program execution begins in the main function. We have discussed in the general structure of the C program. Program execution begins in the main function. In the main function, the statements are executed in the sequential order because C is the structured programming language. First statement just declares the variables x and y. Second statement, it prompts or it requires the user to enter one integer value, right? That's what here you can see the blinking, the cursor is blinking. Now if I type 5, then if I press enter, what happens? 5 is actually the integer value. That integer value or the integer constant is assigned to the variable x. That means the current value of x is 5. Then if I give, right, for example 12, then press enter, or before typing 12 for example, the cursor is blinking. It seems that we need to give the input, next input to the variable y in the sequential order. So if I type 12 and press enter, then only the input constant 12 is sent to the variable y. So if I press enter, what happens? Input to the variable y is done. Then in the sequential execution, we can find the third or the last statement. Printf prints the values of x and y. X is equal to percentage d. So x is equal to 5 gets printed, and y is equal to percentage d. The value of y, 12 is printed. Understand?
Sir, why in
Understand
input
or not?
statement alone, without giving backslash n, it is going to the other statement?
Yeah, in the input statement, right, there are certain formattings available, right, in the input output. Formats CFIOs, right? You see later, right, regarding that. So as of now, right, I don't want to use, right, any format specification, right, in the input. Only, right, the slash and character is going to be used in the printf statement. However, these two scanf statements can be written in a single scanf statement. That is the next thing you need to learn. Scanf percentage d and leave a space and give percentage d, or you can directly give percentage d twice, then ampersand x, ampersand y. In this case, this is a single scanf statement. This achieves the task of the previous two scanf statements that are commented. So this is equivalent to first scanf percentage d ampersand x, then scanf percentage d ampersand y. So I save the program and running the code, control F9. If I input 100, then 200, it seems x is 100, y is 200. So two variables are obtained through the keyboard, right? Say 100 and 200 are integer constants which are stored in the variables x and y, and the values of the variables are printed. Clear?
Sir, can't we have two input scanf statements in same line?
Same line. Since C is a free-form language, for example, I like to comment this one. As you said, there is no doubt in that. It's perfectly okay. Scanf percentage d ampersand x, comma scanf percentage d ampersand y. Is this are you asking?
No, sir. While in the output statement, while it is asking us the output, is it not possible
Yeah.
to ask the two variables in the same line?
This output statement, two variables x and y
No,
are
sir.
given in the
In
same
the
line.
output window, you showed the output for this program, right?
1
In that,
minute.
you
Control
entered X
F9.
and then it automatically enters the next line, right? Without that, in the same line,
Yeah.
can't we enter two variables?
Yeah, it's possible. 1 minute. Control F9. Then we need to separate, right? For example, I put one space, then 20. Automatically it takes, right? 10 into the variable x and 20 into the variable y. Because once the input reaches the blank space, what happens? Blank space is the terminator for the current input, so that you can have the values right assigned as x is equal to 10, y is equal to 20. In this case, 10 comma 20, that means 10 is separated, right? After comma 20, comma is not a separator, so you will get some garbage value. This is garbage value. Some value, right, is assigned to the variable y. So in the different runs, right, you can get different values of the variable y. So this is also right another way. 100, right? You can leave any number of spaces, then provide the next integer so that the inputs are taken like this. Understand or not?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir,
So yeah, yes, tell me.
sir, is it necessary to give ampersand for a variable?
That's necessary. Good question. In the scanf statement, you need to use this format specifier. As of now, right, I said percentage d. You can give a single percentage d like this, or you can give 2 percentage d's like this, 3 percentage d's, 4 percentage d's, 5 percentage d's, n percentage d's consecutively. Percentage d space percentage d space percentage d, right, consecutively. How many percentage d's are given? For that, you need to specify the equivalent number of variables. Ampersand x, ampersand y, ampersand z, ampersand a, b, ampersand b, c, etc. It is necessary to give this format specification in the scanf statement. Ampersand is necessary. In the same way, right, in the printf statement, percentage d, percentage f format specification is necessary to print the values of the variables. Clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So now you have an idea how to read inputs from the keyboard. That's what I have said. In the flowchart, in the algorithm, we have used the well-defined instruction input x. For example, in the quadratic equation, input a, b, c. For to find the sum of three numbers, say input a, b, c, input x, y, z. The equivalent implementation is this scanf statement. Now what I like to give the same example before reading the input, just to have a look into this output screen. You can easily notice that the cursor is blinking. This stage we cannot understand what we need to give. For example, instead of integer, right, we like to give some characters, right, something. What happens? Some unexpected result may occur. For example, here I like to give ZXEVB something. In this case, you might notice that x is equal to something, y is equal to something. This indicates that we need to get a clear instruction what needs to be given as the input. When it blinks something, control F9 again, the user, we, right, cannot, I, right, cannot understand what I need to give, what we need to give, right? So that is one problematic stage. So what I suggest to before the scanf statement, can we have a reasonable printf statement? Printf, see, I leave spaces, right, just to have a clarity. You can ask, sir, why you have given a blank line right after the scanf statement or before this printf statement, right? Just for a clarity, so that one can easily, right, see the program and the structure of the program, right? We can easily, right, understand what is given in these lines. So before reading inputs from the keyboard, I like to give the proper message. Please enter the value of x. or please enter the values of x and y. Double quotes. We have explored, right, the syntax of a printf statement. What is a printf statement? Whatever we have due, right, in the double quotes, that is output. Enter the values of x and y. There is no percentage d, percentage, right, something is given. X and y are also, right, the characters which are printed in the double quotes. So whatever you give inside the opening and closing double quotes will get printed in the stage, and we have a better effect compared to the previous program. Yes, certainly, because it prompts before the scanf statement whatever we have given in the printf statement reasonably that gets printed. So enter the values of x and y so that you can understand or I can understand easily. So this seems right, we need to input the values of the variables x and y. So I can input, right, 1 space 2. Perfectly right. X is equal to 1, y is equal to 2. So please use a reasonable printf statement before you get something as input from the keyboard. You can write a message, enter the value of x, or enter the value of x. Please enter the value of x within bracket integer. Or please enter the integer value to the variable y. Likewise, wherever you have a scanf statement, properly you can introduce the messages in terms of the printf statement. Since here, right, okay, we have two printf statements, sorry, two scanf statements. We can also write enter the value of x, and then after reading the value of x, printf hash or something, right, enter the value of y. In this case, what happens? I put right slash n for our convenience so that this message will be printed with the new line. Now I save and run the code. Control F9. Good. It prompts to enter the value of x. So I input 12. Then I press enter. It prompts to enter the value of y. I input say 25. Pressing enter. X is 12 and y is 25. So this kind of, right, providing the reasonable printf messages are giving the clear insight to run the program without having any confusion. So I suggest you, right, to include a reasonable printf statement before each scanf statement. Clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in this examples, right, we have explored percentage d, right, to read the integer value of a variable. In case if you use percentage f as used in the printf statement, percentage f, what happens? We can retrieve the floating point value of a variable. So in the same example, if you think this is float x comma y, how do we make a scanf statement? Scanf percentage f comma ampersand x, scanf percentage f comma ampersand y. Then in the printf statement, we can use x is equal to percentage f, y is equal to percentage f, x comma y, so that real numbers can be given as the input to the program. Then
printf la
we can
போட்டோம்னா
print.
x is equal to percentage of
Yes, yes, in the printf also you need to use percentage f, and in scanf also you need to use percentage f. Understand? Understand or not?
yes sir. Sorry sir, unfortunately I unmuted sir.
It's okay. So have a clear idea. Again, I tell you, percentage D for integer format specifier, both in scanf as well as printf statement. Percentage F for the floating point format specifier, both in scanf and printf statement. So before going to solve the problems, you need to learn these topics, right? First one, constant. Constant is a quantity whose value is not changed during the execution of the program. 12, 35, 25. Single quote means character constant. Double quotes, I, right? These are some examples of constants. The value will not be changed. 12 remains 12, right? Cannot change, right? 12 into some 13, not possible. Variable means a quantity whose value changes during the execution of the program. As we have seen, right, in the several algorithms, initially x is equal to 10, then subsequently if you write x is equal to x plus 1, what happens? When x is equal to 10 is executed, the value of x is 10. When you write x is equal to x plus 1, current x is incremented by 1, so that x becomes 11. That is a variable, right? So variable is a quantity whose value changes during the program execution. Variable is a quantity whose value changes during the program execution, where constant is a quantity, say 3.14159, whose value will not change during the execution of the program. Then basically have the assignment statement. Assignment statement have this general form. Left hand side is equal to some expression. Left hand side is clearly a variable. This is variable. Variable should be placed in the left hand side. In the right hand side, we can also have a variable or constant, or we can have the expression. The expression means this is formed by using the operators, say plus, minus, star, slash, modulus, and some other operators are also there. We explore later. So basically, right, if the expression is formed using some operators, you need to mention those operators. Say x is equal to a plus b. As are in the Fibonacci series, we have written c is equal to a plus b. C is a left hand side variable. A plus b is the expression. Left hand side is equal to expression, semicolon. So this is an example of an assignment statement, but you cannot write a plus b is equal to c, right? This is invalid assignment statement. C is equal to a plus b. This is the valid assignment statement. So have these fundamentals, solve the problems. Have any doubts, right, in these things? Constants, variables, assignment statement, valid assignment statement, and to define the invalid assignment statement. A plus b is equal to c. This is invalid because left hand side is the expression. A is not a variable. B is not a variable. We have mentioned, right, a plus b. To add a and b, right? C cannot be, right, added into the addition of a and b. So these are not, right? Left hand side is not a variable. So variable, right, that begins with the letter variable begins with letter, right? For example, small a to z, or you can begin with capital A to z. You can also begin with underscore, right? This is underscore. Variables can also start with underscore, right? You can't start with a number, for example, 1 x. This is invalid variable. Invalid variable. X1, this is a valid variable because it starts with a letter. Subsequent characters, so you can have right the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So hope you understand. These are the basic things, right, required to solve the problem. Any queries in this? With this, right, we will be able to solve the simple problems that we have discussed earlier. Any queries? Shall we solve one simple program first?
Yes, sir.
Based on these, based on these scanf statement, printf statement, constant, variable, assignment statement, right? Based on these things, let us solve one simple problem. I save it, right, and I post it right later. I post right all the programs, right, that I am going to solve here. In the next problem, can you take it, please? Find the area and circumference of a circle. That means we need to write a program to find the area and circumference of a circle, right? So please wait, right? Let us complete this program. First, to find the area and circumference of a circle, I write in the comments, you know the inputs. So you are asked to write, the algorithm or flowchart first. Input, right, radius. Radius R is one input. What is the processing statement or output? Output, we need to find what is the area. This is one output. And another one, circumference. This is another output. So you know, right, area is equal to pi r square and circumference is equal to 2 pi r, where pi a floating point constant 22/7, that you need to write as 3.14159 or 22.0 by 7.0. So having this well-defined instructions with proper input and output variables, we can write the program. So here I write the program assuming that, right, the command line has already been defined. What is the first statement we require to write a program? Can you recall? What is the first statement necessary
Include
to write a program?
studio.
Hashtag include.
Yeah, stdio.h other than the command line, right? Even commands are not necessary. Okay, good. Hash include stdio.h. What is stdio.h?
Standard input and output, sir.
Yeah, standard input output header file. The header file which includes all the functions that are required for input output operations. So this is necessary in all C program. Then next we are writing a main function into main. I usually write when I open the opening curly brace, I close end here. It depends upon your style, right? You can open opening curly brace or you can close it right at the end, no problem. So here, right, I usually use to leave one space. You can ask, sir, is this space necessary? No, because this is a free-form language. You can type the statements, right, even after this opening curly brace, but you cannot have a good look and feel effect. You cannot accept, right, that as a good program. So try to have some small formatting, right, by leaving some spaces or by entering some blank lines, right, this will not affect the performance of the program, but it gives the clarity of the program. So tomorrow, right, if you like to see the program, you can easily understand the purpose and the sequential execution. So I leave, right, one space, right, you may have noticed into main, then one space. Here I declare the variables because in a circle, radius, right, for example, I use the variable r in short, or even if you like to use the radius, no problem, r a d i u s, radius, float radius. Then output variables, area and circumference, those are also a floating point variables. So I use float area, circumference, right? For example, I can type the complete word circumference, or in short, right, I use CIR, that is enough. What is our indication? Radius is the variable which is used to give the radius of a circle. Area, right, to find out the area, CIR to find out the circumference of a circle, right? Whatever you need, right, you can have it, no problem. Next, we need to read the input radius R. What I have said earlier, before reading the input, please give a reasonable printf statement. So I start with, right, a reasonable printf statement. Printf,
Sir, what about
please. What about?
pi? Circumference pi's,
What about
right?
pi? 22/7, are you asking?
Yes, sir. It's default or you
Okay,
want-
wait, please wait. In the beginning itself, right, I don't want to write, confuse, right, some of you by defining the constant, right? Later I tell you, right, 22/7, no problem. We can make it as 22.0/7.0 as a floating point quantity. Please wait. Please enter the radius. So after this, we can have scanf statement. Say CAN scanf. Then radius is the floating point quantity, ampersand RADIUS, or simply use R only, no problem. Scanf ampersand radius. Then I leave one space, right? So here I like to find, for example, find area. We need to write the assignment statement. Since you are already, right, familiar with writing algorithms, flowchart, the same computation is going to be carried out as we discussed earlier. Left hand side is equal to some expression, or left hand side is equal to some variable or constant. Here area, right? Area is pi r square, pi, right? That is 22/7. We need to use a floating point quantity as 22.0/7.0, right? In case if you write 22/7, what happens? 22 is the integer, 7 is the integer, 22/7, 3.14159, etc. 0.14159, etc. will be truncated. Only the integer portion 3 is taken. So to have the correct accuracy, please mention, right, a floating point value. 22.0 is the floating point value, but 22 is the integer value. So pi, let us complete this program first, please. Pi r square, radius into radius. R square, so I am writing r into r as a radius. Then circumference is equal to, if you want, you can leave the space like this, right, for a better clarity. Before is equal to, after is equal to. You can ask, sir, is it necessary? No, just to have a clarity. Circumference is, what is the circumference? 2 pi r. So I am writing 2 into 22.0/7.0 into radius. Find, we have computed the area and the circumference. So find the area Next, if you want to write in a comment, here write find circumference. I write in short CIR. Then I leave one space, right, to have a clarity. The space is not necessary, right? You can also write the lines continually, right? But leaving the space, if you see the program later, right, you can easily understand, oh, this is variable declaration for, this is for getting the input values. This is for the computational statements. This is for printing the results. So that way we get a clear clarity, right, with respect to the style that we are typing in the program. Here we
Sir?
like to print the result, print yes.
Sir, can we use text editors, sir, for writing C language?
Yeah, I already said, please, right, you can use a notepad and you can copy and paste the files, right, here, that is possible. Or you can copy and paste the file from the text editor or notepad to the online compiler, that is possible.
Sir, what should be the extension, sir, while saving the file?
I already said, right, please watch my previous videos. By default, right, in this compiler, in this runtime environment, CPP is taken. But right, in different versions, right, in the Turbo C or normal TC environment, you need to save the file as .c to indicate it as a C file extension.
Okay, sir. Sorry, sir.
Here,
That class I had some
okay.
internet issues.
It's,
That's why I
it's,
couldn't hear it.
it's okay, okay, no problem. Whatever you have the doubt, right, please feel free to ask, right? So because doubts should be clarified first. Okay, please wait, let us complete this program. Area is, I already said, if you miss percentage F, what happens? Area will not get printed. Then printf /n, because I like to print
Sir,
the
should we not use
circumference.
the and symbol over here? Near area.
Pardon? Area
Near area. You have to use the and symbol over there.
and ampersand. This one.
Yes, sir.
No, this should not be used in the printf. That's what I said, right? You have a clear idea. Ampersand is used only in the scanf. Percentage of percentage D used both in scanf as well as printf. Right? In printf, you should not use ampersand. The purpose of ampersand is here to assign, right, the memory address to the variable radius, right? Regarding, right, memory and addresses, right, we will discuss later in the pointers concept. As of now, just to think of any value that you need to assign to a variable so that the variable should be declared this general form: ampersand variable name, or ampersand variable list, ampersand x, comma ampersand y, comma ampersand z. Okay, circumference is percentage f, comma CIR. CIR is our variable. That's all. I close here, closing curly brace. Let us save the file. File save. Our file name is CP8. I press enter. Automatically it takes us .cpp extension. Don't worry, still it is a C programming file. Right? By default, this runtime environment takes the extension as .cpp. Right? Whatever is the file, C program or C++ program. Okay, anyhow, right, we have successfully saved the file. I am first checking for the compile time errors. So I pressed F9. Since we didn't have, right, any, right, a typographical errors or something, right, or any variable mismatch, mistakes are there, nothing is there. So compile time errors are 0. Then next stage, either go through, right, debug, then press F9 or copy the code and paste it in the online compiler. There execute. Here, right, I press Control F9. Good, it prompts first to enter the radius. That means, right, so from this message, right, we can have a clear idea. Oh, now we need to enter the radius, certainly. Radius, for example, 5.2 centimeter. So I give right as 5.2. Then pressing enter, what happens? Radius is a variable, right, which is assigned a value 5.2. So you need to consider this scenario, right? You just consider this is a variable radius. I use right this box notation just to tell, right, there are some values assigned corresponding to the variable. So if we type right 5.2, then what happens here? Radius is a variable which assigns a value 5.2. That is a mean. Then if we press enter, pressing enter, radius is assigned a floating point value, that is a real number 5.2. Subsequently, the statements are executed in the sequential order. Right? We have, as we discussed in the last session, C language supports sequential execution. After scanf, please look here, I highlight. After the scanf, next executable statement is this one. Pi r square. Pi I have written 22/7. As of now, don't worry. 22.0/7.0 is a floating point quantity. So either in the numerator or in the denominator, you need to use 0.0. So follow one style as of now for all floating point quantities, right? Put .0 here when you write the actual integer constant. So this is a floating point constant. Radius into radius, radius square, pi r square is evaluated, and the result is stored in the left hand side variable area. So just to think of here, another variable is created in the system memory, that is area. Likewise, one more variable, circumference, is defined here. Then pressing the enter, right, area and circumference, say, sorry, 2 pi r is evaluated as the circumference. Then the next executable statement is printf area is area. So the area is computed 84.98, right? That is actually now assigned in the area variable 84.98. Then circumference 32.68. For example, I write with the 2 digits accuracy, right? 32.68. This is stored in the variable circumference. Because of the sequential statements, area and circumference are updated like this. After this update only, we are printing the value of a variable area and the value of a variable circumference. So in a printf statement, don't use ampersand. Use the required format specifier, say %f, floating point results are expected with respect to our variable declaration area CIR. We have properly used the variables area CIR, including the variable radius in our assignment statement or all in our processing instructions or statements. So this is one simple program to find out the area and circumference of a circle so that it requires the input from the user. The second run, I can give, for example, 5.0. The area and the circumference is computed. In the third run, right, you can input, for example, 7. The area and the circumference is computed. So understand how to program in C.
So
Define
7
the
is not a
variables.
float value, right, sir? But we have assigned radius as a float value. What will it do, sir?
Okay, good question. Control F9, 7. 7 is not a floating point value. So in this stage, floating point takes higher range than integer 1. So that integer, right, 7 is actually type promoted to the floating point 1. So that 7 is actually processed here as 7.0, right? That we will discuss later, right? How type promotions are going to be carried out. Any doubt?
Sir, generally at the end we have to give return 0, no sir?
A return 0, that's what right in this version, right? Finally, right, a return 0 not necessary. Even right, you will get the warning message. To avoid that, right, you can give return 0. Control F9. Please enter the radius. Or F9. Now you will not get any warning messages. Return 0, right? You will try to write use right at the end for this int data type. Otherwise, right, what happens? The warning message will be reported F9. Here you can see the warnings, 2 warnings. Right, in that, right, one warning will be, right, the main function is expected to return the integer value. So to avoid that warning, right, there is no issue, right, to have the return statement at the end. Any other doubts? Okay, please go through the session, right? I post the materials, right, after some time. Please go through the video session again, right? And the programs, right, that whatever we have solved, right? I post all this materials, right, slide, right, as well as programs and video material. Please go through this, right? We will solve, right, some more problems in the next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.